You might have felt overwhelmed by the idea of designing a Shopify store, but you don't know how to get started. Or maybe you have heard of Shopify before, but you don't know how to use it. So welcome to this comprehensive guide of how we can design a Shopify store for a clothing brand. In this video, I'll walk you through the entire process of how we can get started, setting up, designing your own very Shopify store, step by step, a full walkthrough. If you've never built or designed anything to Shopify, you don't have to worry about it. This video will simplify everything for you. I will make it easier to follow along for you to create an online store for a clothing brand. Now, typically tutorials like this cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, but today you're getting the complete course here right now into YouTube totally for free. We will cover everything you need to know about the Shopify. We're going to talk about the professional looking store, all the features, and you will get all the basics you need to get started selling today in Shopify. So for you beginners, I have listed all the steps down below in the description so you can check that out if you wanted to come back and check out a specific section, just in case you're feeling a little bit lost. So with no further ado, let's just jump straight into how to get started with Shopify.
Alright, so now we are into our computer. So let's first of all understand a little bit more about the Shopify. So Shopify is a leading e-commerce platform that allows you to create and manage an online store with ease. This is perfect for clothing brands looking to reach a wider audience. That's the reason why for making a clothing branding store, we're going to be using Shopify today. Now you have a link down below in the description, guys, so you can get started totally for free. Then having a huge deal for the next 3 months, only paying $1 per month to get a Shopify plan, whatever plan you are choosing. And there are different plans that you can choose into Shopify. You might want to check that out directly into shopify.com/pricing and check out the pricing that appears directly into Shopify. So with the link down below that you have just clicked, it's going to be prompting you and sending you directly in here. So let's just start by creating our account. So it's going to be asking you which of these best describes you. Usually what we do is that we are just getting started. And here it's going to be asking you where would you like to sell. Now we are focusing today into creating a clothing store. So we wanted to create an online store. If you wanted to make sales into social media, in person, you want to create a blog or online marketplace, you can select all of this. In our case, we want to focus only into an online store and the social media. You are free to even input the I'm not sure, just in case you don't know what you're actually going through. So now what you're planning to send first, in my case, I wanted to focus with the print-on-demand products. Now, print-on-demand products are elements where you can sell products with your own designs, your own original designs, but you don't have to create products or buy products to sell them later. So this is going to be really amazing for people who have low budget and want to create a clothing store. So now I have here my print-on-demand. You can decide this later if you wanted to. I go for next. And lastly, where your business will be located. So this is going to be really important to choose the actual country where you're currently living. Otherwise, a few elements will be disabled, or you might be needing the verification process for that. And of course, when you go there, you might need to provide elements from that country. So it's going to be really important to provide a real country you're currently living. So just like that, your account is going to be created. So once we are signed in, once we have information about our store, it is time to set up our store element. So to get started with our actual theme, first of all, I would like to talk about my branding. Now the branding is what I'm actually going to be selling. Yes, I'm going to be selling a lot of stuff. So I have now my Shopify store, whatever, but I wanted to make sure they have an actual custom brand. So to get started, before I get started into my Shopify element, I wanted to open a new tab and look out for a graphic design application that can be helping me to, let's say, create my branding. So I'm going to be using Canva. Now Canva is an amazing place where you can create graphic designs totally for free in a very easy way. And you can even create designs to sell them directly here into Shopify. So what I do before I get started into Shopify is to, of course, get started with my name, the designs, what is the name of my logo, my company, and all of that. If you don't know absolutely anything about it, you can open a new tab and go for a name list. Now into name list, you can create a business name generator. This is of course with artificial intelligence. You can, for example, generate the keywords of the elements would you like to get started. For example, let's say geometric, shapes, elements, and I go for generate. And I have selected a name. For example, you'd like to create compound words, you can call short phrases, brandable names, real words, right? So I'm going to go for the randomness, go for the brand info, and what is my store. So for example, it says this is a clothing store that sells symbols, right? So this is totally optional. If you want to use these tools, that will be great. So since this is a full tutorial, I'm going to just guide you through the process of doing these elements in a very easy way. So for example, I have Exana, I have Shed, Chrome, so choose the one that best suits for yourself so you can copy it and paste directly into Shopify. Alright, so this is not like the best designs we have done so far, but I'm going to be using this just as an example so we can use all of these designs and create our actual clothing branding store. So using Canva, I now have the logo of my store. I know what is the name that is going to be taken care of. In my case, it's going to be Exana. And actually it looks really great. So what I need to do now is to go back into Shopify so I can import everything that we could just create for branding, a really basic branding directly here into Shopify. Now for this particular tutorial, I'm going to be using a print-on-demand application. As I just told you, a print-on-demand application can be helping me to don't buy stuff. We just needed to provide our designs and of course use that designs so we can use it to design our stuff. And for that, I'm going to be using Printify. There's a lot of clothing branding print-on-demand stores you can use totally for free. We recommend a lot Printify since Printify works really easily with Shopify. So to get started, first of all, I'm going to start with a setup guide. You can see that we are here into Shopify. Let's understand a little bit the dashboard. Into the dashboard, you can see we have the home section. And into the home, we have a setup guide. So for example, help us to find products to sell, customize our online store, add a custom name our store, setting up our shipping rates, set up a payment provider, and placing a test order. By the end of this video, we'll be doing all of these actual processes so we don't have to worry about it. And now, first of all, I'm going to focus with browse product sourcing applications. So as you can see, since we are going to be focusing with print-on-demand applications, the same Shopify allow us to use Printful or Printify. So we're going to be using Printify because Printify has a little bit less products than Printful, but they are a little bit more accessible when it comes to adding your products automatically. So it's going to be asking you to create an account using Printify. For that, choose the option that says sign up or logged in. In my case, I'm going to go for logged in using my Gmail account since the process is going to be much more faster to use it. Now, just in case that you don't have an account, just go directly into sign up. We can, of course, use a Gmail account as well as a Facebook account or choose a basic email. Once you have access directly into Printify, it's going to be asking you to connect a actual store. So into the upper side, we have our stores. We can focus into manage my stores or to add a new store. So in here, I'm going to choose Shopify. And then it's going to be asking you to add your store URL to connect with Printify. At the moment, we have just a generic easy URL that you can focus into the upper side. And you can see that here is the actual URL I'm going to be using. Now to get a little bit more descriptive, you can go into settings, into the left pod, go and focus into domains. And into domains, here we have our domain, our free domain of Shopify. So I'm going to use this domain so I can copy it and I can paste it directly into my Printify so I can connect my store. Before I can start organizing, creating my Shopify store, first of all, what I'd love to do is to get ready my products so I can start selling them directly into Shopify. So now that I have installed my actual application, in this case Printify, what I can do is to start creating my projects, my products, and import them directly into Shopify. There's a manual way of how you can do this just in case you don't want to create a clothing brand using print on demand or using drop shipping. So for that process, you can always go into Shopify once again, and inside your dashboard, locate the left pod. Into the left pod, you can locate this element that says products. Into products, you have collections, inventory, purchase order, transfer, and gift cards. I'm going to choose the option that says add a product. Inside here, we can manually add the product we would like to add. For example, add a title, a description, the media of your images, the category where it would be focusing on the filtering on, the price, the cost per item, if there's a profit and a margin. You can track your inventory, the shop location, the shipping of a product. If you want to add a variant, for example, like sizes, color, whatever, choose it there. And the search engine listing helps us to appear in the search engine listing, for example, Google. And into the right part, we have the product organization, which is the product type, the bundle, collection, text, and the theme template, even the status of our product. So take your time to fill all of this element product by product. Since we're going to be using a print-on-demand application, this process will be filled automatically, since my product should be imported from the application of Printify directly into Shopify. So let's go back into the home section. So back into home, as you can see, now we have set it up, find products to sell. We now know what we wanted to sell. So for that, let's go directly into your Printify. If you don't find your Printify, you can always focus into the left part, click into apps, and here you can see all the install application of Shopify. I'm going to choose Printify. This one should be taking you directly back, of course, into Printify. You can close this now, close this once again, and my Printify application should be opened inside the Shopify store. So that is how we can actually do this process in a very easy way. The process of doing this connection between any application and the Shopify, it's exactly the same. For example, now I am into Printful, and into Printful, I'd have the connection automatically from Shopify directly into my Printful account. And once again, the process is exactly the same. We're going to be using applications section inside our store. So now that your store has not been successfully connected, how do I make sure that my store is connected though? If you clicked into stores, I'm going to reload the page. I'm going to try to look out for stores and check out where is your store located. As you can see, we have one active store. If I click on it, you should see that I can go into view my store. Now I wanted to make sure that this is the actual store that I have connected directly into Shopify. And if I focus into the upper side, I want to import not synced products from Shopify, and I enable this. Once I have done this process, then I can start to create products and add them directly into Shopify. So let's go back into Printful and let's go directly into the product catalog. Into the product catalog, I can start by adding my first products. So I can go here into product catalog and check out all the products that I can use for print on demand. Basically, what we're going to be doing here into print on demand is by just choosing one product and then later on use them to create our clothing brand. So if this is clothing brand, I want to focus only with clothing. Let's go with men's clothing and find some unisex products that I can add from both men and women. So I have Printful suggestions. I have oversized fade t-shirt, unisex premium t-shirts, unisex oversized hoodie, and much more. For this tutorial, let's go straight directly into some oversized faded t-shirt. So I select my product that I would like to design, check out the actual title, check out the reviews, check out the technique, the digital printing, the DTF printing, the colors that are available, the sizes, the price, and the estimated delivery too. So I'm going to go for digital printing, and I focus with create a product template. This is the part which you want to get started and create and design your product. So we have here our product, and then it's going to be asking us to upload or drop your design here. That's the part which you wanted to use our actual products, our design that we could generate to use in Canva. Of course, once again, this is something really easily, but for this tutorial, this shall work. So now that I have downloaded all my products, I want to unzip all of them and show them one by one. So here they are. So I'm going to go back into my designs, go into one of my products, and start to import them. So for example, here's my design number 1. Now that I have imported all my designs, I'm going to select one of them and let's go for apply. Now let's check out how this my actual t-shirt looks. So you can make this smaller, you can make this big enough, whatever. In my case, I'm going to just leave this like this and check out how it actually looks with my layers. Let's go back into products. Which are the colors would you like to accept? Let's say, for example, this is my color I would like to accept, the faded khaki, and this one, eucalyptus. So if you're okay with all of those, then what we can do now is to go into save to the templates. Now that we have created our very first product, I wanted to import this product directly into Shopify. So for that, let's go into product templates. And into product template, you can see that here are all our products designated. So choose the option that says add to store. Into the option that says add to the store, it's going to be asking you which is the product would you like to connect and add directly into your store. So we have now this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different elements to get started here. So for example, choose all the colors available. Choose the sizes. Go for proceed to mockups. Now we have the design, so we can choose custom mockups or basic mockups. I'm going to choose some basic mockups and choose the product that best suits for yourself. So in this case, I'm going to showcase one fade bone flat color, which in this case is this one. And I can choose from this mockup, I can choose from this mockup or this one, or even look out for more additional mockup. So scroll down and look out for a mockup that you'd like to use for your designs. Once you're okay with it, let's go into continue. Then here are the details. In this case, you have the product title. For example, oversized faded t-shirt. So I can go oversized star shape shirt. And here's the description. You can of course edit it or leave it as it is. And the benefits of on-demand manufacture, you can add it if you wanted to. Add a side guide for metric or imperial, whatever you want to add it. And choose a tax where you'd like to add to your products. For example, in my case, it should be an oversized start t-shirt, or just t-shirt, star or star t-shirt. Really easy process. Into collections, at the moment we don't have any collections, so you want to just leave this as it is. But if it actually worked and asked you to add a product collection, you should go and focus only into the home dashboard. Now these are the product pricing. The product pricing is going to be asking you how much money would you like to earn per sale. So I have this retail price in MXN money. So if I sell my products in this amount of money, I'm going to be earning 41 MXN per sale. If you want to earn less, you can go for, let's say, 5%. I go percent. And there you go. So as you can see, my salary is going to be earning a little bit less. So what I can totally suggest to you is to try to start from something really easy and basic and affordable, so you can start to make some sales. After you make a few sales, then you can start to increase your retail prices. Once you finish this, let's go into submit to our store. Now the product should be added, it's going to be added automatically into our store. I'm going to go back into Shopify, and here into Shopify, let's go and focus into products. Now, as you see, our product directly from Printify or Printful has now been imported into Shopify. So now we have a product and a status, inventory, sales channel, market category type. Let's click into our product and let's see what does the application has imported. As you can see, we have imported the media, the description, the title, the insights. Everything is actually looking great. You can start by editing a few elements, for example here. The theme template you can create later on. I have the collection homepage, the vendor, let's say for example ourselves. In this case we're called, I'm going to go back Xana. So vendor, let's go for Xana. I add it. In product type, let's say that I go for t-shirt or clothing like this. And then I saved it. Now what I'm going to be doing here is to skip this part, because I'm going to do exactly the same process but with all the product template images that I have just generated. Now my first 3 products has now been imported into Shopify. So let's go back into Shopify. Let's go into products. I reload my page and you can see that we now have 1, 2, 3 products added into our store. So we have successfully started by adding our first products into Shopify. Now we can focus with the next section, which is choosing and customizing a theme. So Shopify offers a variety of free and paid templates designed to meet different business needs. So for a clothing brand, you will want a theme that highlights your products effectively. So to get started, let's go into the section that says online store into the left part. I'm going to click inside here and let's focus into themes. Focusing into themes, we are now inside the dashboard of the theme section of our store. By default, we have the Done section which can be helping us to get started. If you don't like this Done theme, you can scroll a little bit down and focus with Visit the Theme Store. Now inside the theme store, we can of course start by choosing free themes or paid themes. I can focus with free themes if you don't want to spend a lot of money here. So let's go into the left part that says free. I enable them and you can see that we have a few of them that are still totally for free. So we have the right, we have the done, there's the origin, there's so much more. So for an actual clothing store, I can totally suggest you to go with 1 out of 3. Whether that will be the color blocked, you can focus with the done or focus with the origin if you're focusing to selling just one product. In my case, I'm going to stick around with the done because it actually looks really great. So I'm going to close my template. Once you choose the template you wanted to get started with, here you should be choosing the done element. So let's go into customize so we can start customizing our template. We are now inside the editor of the store administrator section. We can see that here into the right part, this is the preview of how it actually looks our product. These are our 3 products added. And into the left part, we have the elements that we can add. A little bit more into the left side, we have the sections, the theme settings, and the app embeams. So we wanted to focus into what we're actually seeing here. For example, it says browse our latest products. Into the upper side, if you wanted to get started by choosing a specific theme color, let's focus into theme settings. Now in here, we can start by importing our own logo. So it should be now crafting a little bit more about our branding. Let's go into select image and go for add image. Now what I'm going to be doing here is to importing an actual logo that I do have here. Make sure that it is an actual PNG file and that there's not a lot of, let's say, shapes there. So make sure this is going to be simple, easier, and of course affordable. PNG file, no background there. So I go for done, and here's my logo. Automatically this logo should be imported into my theme. As you can see, here it is. We can start by editing this later. For example, the desktop logo doesn't look that bad, but I can go then later on. Now the favicon image is a logo that appears into the upper side. For example, this short element that says Shopify, the NameBlix logo, this is an actual favicon. So in my case, I'm going to use exactly the same logo. Now into the colors. In the colors, I have different schemes that I can use for the designing of my store. So you can of course change the schemes of your elements. For example, here let's go for scheme number 5. I can change the background. Even I can just delete it so I have no background. I have a background gradient. I can change the text, for example, with something like this or more like bluey. I have solid cotton button background. I can change this once again for something more bluey. Solid button label. I have an outline button, for example this, and there's a shadow. So you can see how the preview of how it actually looks our scheme. And to apply this directly into our store, let's go into sections. In each section that you chose, you are available to choose a specific scheme. So for example, let's say that I choose my header. So into my header section, I can choose in a specific color. By default, we have the color scheme of the scheme number 1. If I choose another scheme, check out how this section automatically is going to be changing the scheme color that we chose, or the one that we just created, which in this case is the scheme number 5. So we can choose all the schemes you'd like to, and just leave it as it is if you want to focus on with new sections. Now into the section of this home dashboard page, we can start by adding, deleting, or editing the sections that we're seeing. For example, here we have an image banner. So this image banner actually looks really great. We can select free images or select an image from our products. For example, let's say that I go and select one product that I have here. And as you can see, here it is. So browse our latest products. I can change this, of course. I can go back. Instead of the image banner, go for browse our latest products. And let's go for a heading. For example, let's go for shape. over save whatever, something that rhymes with shape. Here's my button, and down here I have some featured products. Before I show my featured product, I would like to talk a little bit more about my products. So I can focus into the left pod, and here I can go and add a new section. So we have featured products, there's a collection list, brief text, image with text, image banners, slideshows, and much more. I'm gonna go and look out for the multi-column. So into the multi-column, I'm gonna hit this back, and the multi-column, I'm gonna just move it into the second section of the image. So we have this image banner, then there's the multi-column, and then there's the featured products. Or what I can do is to add collections. So let's go and add a connection, feature collection, for example, or featured product, whatever. So choose, let's see, for example, featured collection, and do exactly the same thing. I'm gonna move this above the feature collection. So here's the feature product. So multi-column, feature collection. Now if there's elements that you do not want to see, for example this button label, I scroll a little bit down and I find the button label. For example this button label, let's go for delete, and I don't see it anymore. Now into the multi-column, I'm going to start by changing the text that appears here. For example here, let's go for who are we, and what is the elements that I would like to add into my column. So I have column number 1, I click it. Column number 2, I click it. Column number 3, and there you go. So I can start by even selecting images so I can start customizing them. For example, let's go here. I go for done. Here's one image. You select the other one, and so on and on. Even what you can do is to go into your Printful products and download mockups so you can use them to add them directly into your store. For example, here I select the element that says download mockups. I go for basic mockups and just select the mockups which you like to download. For example, there's men mockups, there's men lifestyle mockups, women lifestyle mockups, and much more. So as you can see here, we have front images. We can select one that you like to, let's say for example this one, and I go for PNG, generate the mockups, and I can download. Once I download my images, I can import them directly into my store. So just make sure that your processing files is now completed. Go back into Shopify and import them directly into the place which you like to be added. For example, I go for my column, I select edit or change, I import my photos, and I just select one of them. So in my case, I think I'm going to go for this girl oversized faded t-shirt. Just wait till the upload has now been successfully been added, and go for done. Now as you can see, it actually looks like if we are actually creating a really great clothing store. So into the column, I can add my text, I can add more description, and so more. So I'm gonna hit now into save. Every time I think something works for me, make sure that you have saved every changes that you've done here. Check out how it actually looks your store from the desktop, from mobile, and even from a full screen. So make sure everything looks great when you're editing your store. Now let's head over into the desktop view, and we can add in managing more products, of course, back then into the dashboard. But first of all, what I'm going to do first is to customize my store design, because we have now used a theme editor, we have now adding custom pages. Now we can set up a navigation menu. Now into the upper side, you can see that we have the header. We can make the header more bigger, more smaller, that's totally up to you. In my case, I'm going to try to make a different menu for my header. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back into the dashboard, and into my dashboard, let's locate once again online store and then navigation. Into navigation, we can start by adding menus, links, and much more. So for example, here I have the main menu. So far we only have home, cataloged, and contact. For me, it's something that works really great. Since we're just getting started, we just wanted to show our home, our cataloged, and contact them maybe. If you wanted to add a new item, you can go and add it there. But before you do it, you must have an actual page or a blocked element which you like to add. For example, let's say that if I already have a page, or if I wanted to add a block or a page, focus into the left side that says pages. Into pages, I can add my very first page. For example, here I go for the upper side that says add page. Into add page, let's say that I wanted to get started with a sizing chart. Now into content, I don't want to add anything into the content because we can do it directly into the editor of Shopify. So just create an actual page. So I hit now into save. Once I have saved this, I can go back, make sure that my page has now been imported, go into navigation, directly into navigation. Once again, I choose my main menu or the menu that I wanted to add a new menu item, and here the name of the new section I want to add, for example, is the sizing chart. And you find your page or your link inside here. Well, that will be from collections, your product pages, blogs, policies, and much more. Hit now into add, and automatically should be added into your menu item. Now that you have created a new menu item, now that I have created products, I think that we are going to get started with collections. Now, collection can help you to organize all your products into one place so everybody would know what you're actually selling. So in my case, I'm going to focus into products, and a little bit down we have collections. Into collections, we only have by default the home page. I can get started and creating my own. Into the upper side, let's go for create collection. Once again, this is a new page, but we don't have to do anything about the description or anything at all. We just want to decide the title. For example, here in the title, let's go for t-shirts. I'm gonna leave this like that. T-shirts. Descriptions, I leave this, and I'm gonna add a new image for my t-shirts. So I can choose one of those. For example, the one mockup that I have downloaded in my case is exactly the same product. And the collection type should be automated. Now, if you wanted to automate this, of course, the product type should be it's equal to, let's say I go for a t-shirt, or we can add another condition. So every time I see a product that has the word t-shirt, automatically should be imported directly inside this collection. So I'm gonna hit now into save. Once I have saved this, my products that has this tag automatically should be added in here. For example, we have here this one. So if I go back into my products, I make sure that my products has all the tags that I wanted to use. So for example, I clicked here into one product. As you can see into the vendor, we can change the vendor type. Of course, all of these elements can be edited directly into the actual printful, but in this case, I'm going to change the vendor for our actual name of branding, which I remember is Xana, right? So there we go. Xana. Collections, I leave this as it is. The tags, I'm going to go for t-shirt and go for save. Now into the collections, we don't have actually anything added, but if I went back, we can see that directly into my collections and t-shirts, one product should be added automatically. You can do this manually if you want to. For example, here I have the product, and instead of the collection type, I can look out for any condition. If I choose one product inside the manual section, we can go for browse and select the product which you'd like to add into your collection. In my case, I add these 3 of them. So I can of course go back and make sure that the collection has not been added automatically. Now let's see how the collection should be appearing into our store. Let's go into online store, and inside the theme section, I can focus inside customize once again. And directly into customize, I wanted to focus into my section that says feature collection. Now into feature collection, I select one of them, and we have here the heading size, description, and much more elements. Let's go and select our collection that we have created. In this case, it's going to be shirts. So I select shirts, and I go for select. So my feature collection should be added there. If you want, we can change the heading of our feature collection. For example, let's say top shirts or new arrivals. Looking much more interesting, right? You can add a show description or change the heading size if you wanted to. Now, if you wanted to show the collection description from the App Store, you can enable this. In my case, I don't want to use it at the moment. Now, what I wanted to do is to save this element. And there we go. So my feature collection actually looks really great. In my case, I think that I don't need to add a featured product. So I select one of the actual new section. I go back, and this section I do not want to see it. So I select here my feature element and I remove this section. So there you go, we have something much more easier to get started into. Now what I'm going to do here is to go into save. So to make this process looks a little bit much more better before we start to, let's say, get ready, let's focus into the shipping and ratings. Now, if you focus into settings inside the Shopify, we can see that we have a lot of elements that we can start by editing. In here, the left part, we have the element that says payments, checkout, customers account, shipping, taxes, location, markets. Let's go and click directly into shipping and delivery. Now the shipping and delivery is a place where you can choose where you shipped and how much you charge for the shipping at the checkout. Now usually these kind of applications have an actual application profile where they have all of this element filled in automatically. So I don't need to do this anymore. So I have all my products, the shipping origin, the shipping zones, the cost of the rates, and all of that. So basically in my case I don't have to do absolutely anything though. But if you wanted to do this manually, you wanted to go into my shipping and delivery and create an actual new profile. Creating a new profile is going to be asking you what other products you're going to be using, the shipping origin, the shipping zones, and start shipping to more places, of course depending on the country you're currently living. So I'm going to hit now back and we're actually good to go. Now the next thing to do is that you want to get charged for your services, right? So for that we wanted to focus inside the settings, into the left part we're going to focus into payments. Into payments I wanted to get starting in choosing a provider. Depending on the place you're currently living, you might be having access to choose Shopify payments or much more. Now if I clicked first of all here into my filtering, you can enable the payment providers which you would like to accept into your store. For example, let's say I only want to accept Apple Pay and Google Pay. In my case, the best solution for me is Aiden Payments or AirWallet. So if I select one of them, I do have now the prompt to install this directly inside my store. So depending on the third party you choose, it's going to be asking you to create your account and set it up all your elements so you can start by accepting payments inside Shopify. So inside here, I wanted to have an actual Aiden payment configuration. So I'm gonna go to authorize with Aiden and of course create an actual account. So in my case, I don't have an Aiden account. So what I need to do is to create one. So I'm gonna hit back and I'm gonna choose an actual account that we already have just to make sure this one actually worked. So I choose Stripe because Stripe actually worked for almost every platform. Into Stripe, I just wanted to connect my account directly into Shopify. So just create an account, sign in, and import all your content. I'm gonna case for submit and connect my account directly into Shopify. Automatically, all this information should be imported directly into your Shopify. Once again, you might need it to have an actual account of the third party that you chose in order to import your elements. In my case, now I do have the Stripe elements. I can hit into managed and I can see that we have enabled now Visa. We can accept MasterCard, American Express, and PayPal. If you wanted to simulate successfully failed transactions, you can enable this element so each sale that you make is going to be of course in a test mode, simulated, and you can see what happens when something goes well or something goes bad. Now that we are inside the settings, let's focus into the left part and focus directly into our branding. So scrolling here, I'm going to focus a little bit down and focus directly into my branding so I can locate this directly into the left part. Go for general, and inside general I'm going to change my store details. So into my store details, my name should be Xana. So I go back, my store name should be Xana, and we currently don't have a store form, but I'm going to be using and saving this name. Now I can scroll all the way down and look out for brand assets. Brand assets can be helping me to integrate assets across a lot of elements. So here inside my brand assets, this is what we're going to be seeing our store. So we can start by adding our logos, squares, colors, cover images, slogans, or description, and social links. So let's start with the logo. I clicked the logo that we have already uploaded directly into our store, which in this case is this one. The preview should be a square. And my primary color should be something like this, so we can customize this. My contrasting color should be equally like this. And secondary color, I can look out for something more darker. And I can add another secondary color if I wanted to. For example, let's say this one. Now, as you can see into the upper side, this is how it should be looking, our store into our socials. That's the branding. That's the reason why we're going to be using different colors, different shapes, and all of that. And here should be appearing, of course, into social media and all of that. So scrolling a little bit down, we can add more stuff. For example, the cover images. You can select one product template if you wanted to, preview it, check out how it actually looks, like this, and you can add a slogan. For example, let's say shapes for the names. We can add a short description. This one can help us to appear a little bit more into the search list console. For example, clothing brand store that designs shapes, elements, and minimalistic style. You can add your social link in here, for example, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, and much more. Once you've finished doing all of this, let's go into the upper side. It says saved. So we have now successfully added and understanding a little bit more about the shipping elements. We can set up the payments. We can now start to elements. We have now added our products, and we have designed a really easily store with the editor of Shopify. So what is next? When you think you're ready, then we can start to launching our marketing store. So before you launch your store, you can review all the settings, test your checkout process to make sure everything is working smoothly. So once you're ready, we can remove the password protection to go live. So what exactly is the removing password protection? If you focused here into Shopify and go into your online store, you should see that we have this banner that says that our store is not live. So my online store is password protected. To remove the passcode, pick a plan. So if I go into pick a plan, this one should be prompting us to, of course, sending us directly into picking us a plan. With the link that we provided you down below in the description, you have access to all of these 3 plans, and you're going to be paying only $1 per month for the first month. So I'm going to be using one of these plans. Usually what we do is to use the Shopify. You can go for the basic, the advanced, the plus, or the starter plan. So choose the best one that suits for yourself. And here you can see which is the basic plan. Today is totally for free. They're going to be charging us for the first month only $1. And until August 26th, they're going to be charging us $19 every 30 days. If you're okay with it, let's go here into pay and hit now into subscribe, so you can now have access directly into Shopify, and you can of course use it to sell today. Now, as you can see, we have now finder products to sell. We have customized our online store. It is time to customize our domain. So we can add a custom domain, or we can create a new domain. So make sure that before we do this, we already have an actual active plan. So if you go into settings and focus into plan, you should see that inside here, we now have access directly into the plan details. And as you can see, my billing cycle appears here. So we are currently having an actual active plan. So before we actually focused into adding a custom domain, let's make this remove the actual passcode. So back into online store, I have now this online store password protected. So I go for remove the passcode, and this one has now been removed. So access into the online store is no longer restricted, and everybody can sign into our store and they can check this out. Now we can set it up and change our store, because as you can see into the upper side, we have something which is to a lot of codes, myshopify.com. If you wanted to change this, let's go into Shopify, let's go into settings, and here into settings, I can focus and change my actual domain. So let's go and scroll a little bit now down into domains. And into domains, we have this, so we can change to a new My Shopify domain, or you can connect an existing domain. So if I try to buy a new domain, for example, let's say that my domain should be Xana, and here it's going to be finding us a few domains that can be available for my store. And of course, you want to make sure that you have an actual great plan there. And just in case you didn't find absolutely anything that works for you or is not that cheap, what I can tell you, what I can suggest to you is to try to use something called Namecheap. I'm going to open any tab and let's go for Namecheap. Namecheap is a place where you can purchase domains, hosting, email, marketing tools, and so much more. So I'm going to go for the domain name searched. And inside here, I'm going to try to look out for the Exana. So let's go here and go for Exana and go for searched. Now, as you can see, back into Shopify, the cheapest one cost us $9. Let's go into Namecheap and let's see the prices. For example, we have Exana.lat that costs us only $1 per month. We have much more elements, for example, Exana.xyz. We have .info, we have .live, we have .online that costs us less than $1. So if you like what you're seeing in here, then choose the option that says add to cart. Purchase it, and then let's link our new domain directly into Shopify. Once you have successfully purchased a domain, let's connect this directly into Shopify. To do this process actually is going to be really simple. First of all, let's locate back into settings and go for domains. Inside domains, let's locate the option that says connect existing domain. Now here, it's going to be asking us to choose the domain that you purchased. So if you've done this with Shopify, just transfer directly there. If you don't, what you want to do is to look how the place where you purchase your domain. In our case, we have used Namecheap. So I go for my domain list, and here inside, I'm going to try to copy this domain, and I'm going to paste it directly inside Shopify. So exana.store, next. Here, it's going to be asking us to follow the setting instructions to connect our domain. If you clicked in there, it's going to be sending you directly into an actual article from the actual news section of the Shopify article. So what you need to do is to provide the actual element. Of course, in this case, it should be all of this. If you don't know how to do this, to make this much more easier, just go and choose the option that says verify connection. Automatically, it's going to be telling you that the first is incorrect. You don't have to worry about it. Just wanted to do is to make sure that you have this information. So I'm going to paste this information inside my domain preferences. So into my domain list, let's go for advanced DNS. Really important to locate your advanced DNS. And inside here, you want to add a new element. So I go for a new record. In this case, Shopify asks us to add an A record. So I go for a record. So the host should be at, the current IP address empty, and the required value should be this. So I go for add, I save the changes, and now it asks us to add a new record. In this case, should be CNAME. So let's go here, go for CNAME record, the host www of course, and the required value shopsmyshopify.com. So here's the target, and I go for save the changes. So as you can see, now the process has now been correctly saved. If I go back into Shopify, we wanted to go and look out for verify the connection. Now the connection might be taking a few minutes to upload the settings, so you might want to make sure that you just wait a few minutes till we have done this process. Meanwhile, this process has now been successfully done. I wanted to show you something else called the taxes and the duties. Now the taxes and the duties are places where of course we can collect taxes, and if you wanted to collect taxes, it's going to be really important to create some and managing some settings. If you're unsure about where you are liable, you wanted to check with a tax professional. Really important process. So for example, let's say that I am from Mexico City, so I wanted to choose the country I'm currently living. So as you can see, we have the collection tax of my country. If I wanted to add the collection tax of my country, I should select it, and I choose what are the default tax rate I wanted to apply for. So you wanted to of course focus with a tax professional before doing this process. In my case, automatically this element should be filled at 16%, which I think is going to be really great though. So I'm going to focus back, and I hit now to save. If you can collect a tax report, into the upper side you have collected a tax report, and you can fill all the returns. So everything about the channel, the country, the region, the name, everything is now appearing there. Now if I go back directly into my settings, let's go and focus into payments. let's just start by creating just a default testing order. I'm going to prepare myself for that, and I'm going to enable my test mode. So when the test mode is on, all stripe transactions are simulated. So I go for save. So here I'm going to head back and let's locate our online store. Now here into my online store, I wanted to make sure that we do have now access to purchase one item and what happens when I click on it. So let's say, for example, I want to purchase this product. I select it, and let's say that I go for the large sized. I can choose a color, check out how it actually looks, the image. We have the add to cart, embrace here, here's the description, the site guidelines, and there we go. It doesn't look that bad actually. So then I'm going to focus with add to cart. Now I can focus directly into my checkout. This one automatically should be sending us directly into the contact section. So I can start by paying here my express checkout. So here's my contact, here's my country, the first name, the last name, the address, the postal code, the city, the shipping method, and the payment. So once you have done this process, once you make sure everything looks great, you can focus into pay now and go back directly into Shopify. Going back into Shopify, you could be seeing here that into your order, it should be appearing the orders that you have just created and appears directly into Shopify. And that is how we can actually make some sales. If you go back into home, you can see that your to do next, things to set it up next, has now been updated. So as you can see, we have now added and filled our product to sell. So I can get now the new section, which is getting my first 10 sales. Now with the first automation sales, we can start by adding a welcome email series. So we can introduce new customers, new subscribers to the brand with an automated welcome email series. You can choose the option that says add automation. This one should be sending us directly into custom automation. So what we can do is to, let's say for example, create a button cart, a button product browse, to send post purchase upsell, welcome new subscribers, welcome email series, and much more. Let's start with welcome new subscribers. So to use this actual application, we need of course to install the Shopify flows and the Shopify email. So I'm going to install the application required so I can use the workflow. The workflow can be helping me to do this process automatically when they trigger some kind of actions inside this element. So for example, here I have this automation. So this automation, for example, says that here we have the start when somebody subscribes to an email marketing, what's going to happen is that the customer didn't subscribe at the checkout. If the customer does not subscribe at the checkout, then what's going to happen here, we have the send email marketing. So this email is a draft stage to continue sending edited email and saved. So here I have the configuration page and I can change the workflow. So for example, here's a description using the customer identified by customer.id, and I close this and I wanted to turn on the workflow. So I'm going to turn this on, and then later on I want to start by sending an email marketing here. So as you can see here, the email is a draft, so we don't have an actual draft or an email here. So what you can do is to start creating your very first email template. So if I go into the exit mark, I go for applications, and here I go for email. Inside email, I can start creating my very first welcome subscribers email. So here is my welcome with discount. So check out how it actually looks, this draft. So welcome aboard. I click on it, and we have like a preview how it actually looks to our element. So inside here, the marketing section, you can see that we have automations. Now inside the automations, you can see that the status happened automatically. So that means that we have now active a banner cart, a banner checkout, and welcome new subscribers. So I mark this as done, and I can share my online store, and we can announce an announcement bar for offers, and lastly promote your social media for icons. This can help you to, and of course, incentivize you to get your very first 10 sales. Lastly, before we hit and to the end of the video, let's start by understanding the Shopify applications. Let's go into apps, and let's focus into apps and sales channel settings. Into apps and sales channel settings, let's go and focus into Shopify App Store. This one should be prompting us and send us directly into the Shopify Editor App Store. Here what you can do is to download applications for your store that can help you to incentivize, drive some sales, add with digital relationships to upgrade your store, adding photos, adding reviews, landing pages, showcase product, and much more. So for example, let's say that you wanted to add your products into YouTube or into Google. For example, you have the Google and YouTube. So here what you can do is this is free to install. The additional charges might be applied, but can help you to add your products into Google, appear into Google, into YouTube. The same process happens directly here with Facebook and Instagram, for example. Here you have the Meta, Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook and Instagram, once again, is free to install, and this one can be helping you to send some sales directly into Facebook and Instagram. So that's the reason why we're actually going to be using the Shopify App Store, because we can download a lot of elements directly inside there. Even we have, for example, the looks that can help you to add product reviews, the photos, the video, referrals, and much more. There are a few applications that are original by Shopify. So if you only type the word Shopify, this one should be showing you all the applications that were created and by the Shopify. For example, the search and discovery, the Shopify marketplace, the Shopify flow, the translate and adapt. It can be helping you to translate your store into a different language or a different country language, and can help you to drive some more sales international. The Shopify counter, you can display our Shopify counter and showing much more elements. So there's a lot of elements that we can use to cover directly into our Shopify. So to finish with this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you just an actual element that is connecting my Meta directly into Shopify. So I'm going to focus here into Meta, and here I do have the element of the Facebook and Instagram. So I choose just one application and go for install. If I hit now into install, this one should be prompted us to choose to install the application. So hitting to install the app, make sure that when you install an application, this one, the developer is Meta, or is exactly the same developer that you choose. In this case is Meta, the creator of Facebook and now Instagram. So once I have added an application, it should be appearing into the left part that says Facebook and Instagram account. So here the application has now been installed. Once your application has now been installed, you can focus now into get started and adding your Facebook account as well as your Instagram account, so you can start connecting your products and listing directly into Facebook. There's an actual full tutorial how you can do this process directly into our videos of YouTube, so you might want to check that out. Now I'm going to close this, and now that you understand how to install any application into Facebook, let's see the last stuff that you might have missed using Shopify. So we now understand the home dashboard, we understand the orders, we understand the product section, but we didn't talk about the customers. Into the customers, you can add everything related into just one place. The customer history, the customer order history, the grouped customer into segments, or we can manage customer details and add it manually. For example, here have the first, the last name of one person, the language, the email, the phone number, default address. This can be helping us that but later on when they make a purchase, we can incentivize them to purchase again with ourselves, and you can of course send them discount codes and so much more elements. Make your customers valuable for the next purchase and incentivize them to craft new people and become customers. Now into content, you can see all the files, all the meta objects that you can connect with different part of your store, everything that appears into your products and all of them. Now the analytics can be helping you of course to focus into all the total sales, how many people have checked out your online store, how many sales you have done by the channel, the conversion rate, the average order value, the return customer rates, the decisions by location, how many people sign it with a device type, for example in this case only desktop, sales by socials, station by traffic source, and much more. This should be updated daily, so you might want to check that out when to check out the analytics tool, and you can of course customize the view of it. Now we have the marketing. Into the marketing, you can see that we have a lot of campaigns, automation, and much more sections that can be helping you to boost cost, clicks, and impression metrics not available for marketplaces. So this is not recommended for people who are just getting started, because we don't have enough of, let's say, budget to get started with some campaigns, automations, and all of that. You're going to focus with some organic traffic, like creating videos for social media and incentivize people to purchase directly into your store. Now, lastly, we have the discount. Discounts can be helping you, of course, to apply it at the checkout, so you can also use it for persons who are loyal to you or want to try out something. So to create discount, we have the amount of products, there's the buy X and get Y, there's the amount of an order, and there's the free shipping. So for example, let's say that I want to add amount of products. So here I have the discount code, the automatic discount, or discount value. So in the discount code, let's say for example that I go for geometric 10. This should be making a discount value of the 10% of my product, and applies to, let's go for a specific product, and I browse the product I wanted to apply for it. So in this case, in my case, I wanted to apply for 1, 2, and 3 products here. So there you go, 3 products selected. I go for add, and down here I have the minimum purchase requirements. There's no minimum requirements, or you can enable, for example, let's say $6 or $5. So apply it only to selected products. You can of course make the customer eligibility for specific customers or only for anybody that is inside our store. And lastly, the maximum discount, the combination, and the active dates. So let's say that my start date is right now, but there's no end date. So I'm gonna save my discount, and my discount should be now created to them. And you can check out all the discounts you have created in here, how many people have used this discounts, and how it actually worked for you. This can be helping, of course, to understand a little bit more about your Shopify store. So all the applications that you choose, everything that you have installed, should be appearing here, and when you click apps, and you can use them of course to later on add them directly into your store. So guys, that is how we can actually have a successful, really great store generated by Shopify, and we can start now to drive some sales. So that is it guys for today's tutorial on how to design a Shopify store for a clothing brand. We have covered everything from setting up your store, from launching and marketing it. So I hope you find this guide helpful and feel more confident in creating your own online store. Just in case you have any questions, just in case you wanted to check out a specific section of the Shopify, you can let us know in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Tech Experts for more tutorials and tips. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And once again, if you have any questions, leave them into the comments below. So thank you so much for watching guys. Good luck with your new store in Shopify. See you next time.